live again. All right, it says I'm live now, so y'all can try to go back in. I also see it look like my mic is very low, which is another problem of what they're doing. I can't worry about it. I really can't worry about it. It says one person is in. Anyway, fuck all that. Don't talk about YouTube no more. I'm gonna teach my goddamn class. All right, so back to the mission at hand. It says, unless the power of attorney otherwise provides language in the power of attorney granting general authority with respects to real property shall authorize an agent. So if you do a power of attorney, which is all those applications, it authorizes them to do all these things. It says buy, lease, receive, accept as gifts, or as security for extension of credit. Every application you doing does extension for credit. They get to have security interest. If you put your straw man's name on it with your social, it becomes a security and an obligation of the United States, right? It says sell, exchange, convey with or without covenants, representation, warranties, quick claim, release, surrender, retain title for security, encumber, partition, consent, petitioning. They can do all these things, pledge a mortgage, all of that under the application that you sign. They have all that. They completely have control over the straw man as soon as you sign an application. See, I don't entertain people's questions like, what are you reading from? I've already said what I was reading from multiple times. You should have came in early. Now what you're going to have to do is go back and listen to the damn show. And then when you go back and listen to the show, you'll know what I'm reading. And I do that not to be an asshole. I do that to make sure you go study what I was just teaching. It's a reason why I'm doing it. All right. So now let me go to the Constitution. Right. And I'm in the 1877 Constitution. Hold on. Let me also go to the federal Constitution. Federal Constitution as well. Lately, I've been on Article 1, Section 9 and 10 of the U.S. Constitution because it handles things like contracts. And you listen to the last 3 shows, I dealt with that. All right, so it says, I'm going to look for the part. First of all, it says that they can't have no bill of attainder and ex post facto laws. They can't have laws where it's in their favor and it makes it a crime, right? Okay, so it's Section 10, Article 1, Section 10. Let me read that for you. No state shall enter into any treaty, basically a contract, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisals. So, first of all, what are letters of marque? Do y'all know? I bet you don't know. Never looked it up. Letters of marque meaning. A letter of marque is a government license that authorized a private citizen to arm a ship, seize enemy vessels or property during wartime, essentially allowing private individuals to engage in sanctioned pirateering. That law right there that Georgia put into effect is privateering. It allows them to take your property and give you nothing. That means that law is unconstitutional. That law is they let them have a letter of marque. That's unconstitutional. So if you went against the bank and against this law under the what they call this law, they said the law was the power Georgia Power of Attorney Act is a letter of marque. You got to make everything in your life a constitutional issue and fight it with the Constitution, especially if you got to go to appeal or the Supreme Court. Every one of them. Why? Why can't I just use the laws, Jonah? Because every law that they got another law that says they can do it. Right? So the laws contradict themselves, but nothing can contradict the Constitution. Well, Jonah, how do I know nothing can contradict the Constitution? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you in the Constitution. Why? First of all, even that law it's a corruption of your blood. Why is it a corruption of your blood? Because corruption of blood basically means you can't own anything. Let's look up that word corruption of blood meaning. You can't own anything. And forfeiture of estate. Your estate is the straw man. And according to that law, they have that law to control your whole straw man. And whatever the straw man does controls your life. If your straw man, your all caps name is in trouble, then your ass is in trouble. You go to jail. It says corruption of blood is a historical legal term that refers to the loss of certain civil and legal rights as a result of conviction for treason and other serious crimes. In English common law, corruption of blood was a consequence of a attainder, a legal process. So they're also doing a bill of attainder against you through that law and a corruption of blood, which also makes it unconstitutional. See, but if you quote these shits out of the Constitution, you're going to have to be able to explain it just the way I'm explaining it to y'all. But hold on, let me look for the part that says it's void. Now, this is the 1877 Georgia Constitution. Let me read this part for you because this comes into play too. There shall be within the state of Georgia neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, save as a punishment for crime after legal conviction thereof. They got you in slavery with these contracts and you weren't convicted of a crime. Slavery has never been legal in the United States ever since it started. The Articles of Association and the Articles of Confederation made that plain. There was never slavery in America, but that's the shit they show you in the movies. So y'all believe that shit. Your slavery is coming from bad contracts, applications, and all that. Then it says the social status of a citizen shall never be subject of legislation. They just legislated your status by doing that OCGA under the Power of Appointment Act. And y'all never challenged it. Never challenged it. All this shit is unconstitutional. Now, in Section 4, damn. Fucking backed out and I didn't hit the back button. Section 4, paragraph 2. Legislation acts in violation of this Constitution or the Constitution of the United States are void, and the judiciary shall so declare them. So they can't have this law outdo the Constitution. All you have to do is bring it up. Well, how many of y'all gonna bring it up? These laws right here is the laws that they use to repossess your cars, right? For them to do foreclosures, for them to come after you, for credit cards, all of that. This one law, the power of appointment, is acting in that way and gives them the right to do all of that. Now, something y'all may not even know, that every bank in America is a foreign bank. It's not an American bank. It wasn't created here in America. I don't care if it's Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, none of them. Did you know that there is no charter since Andrew Jackson? There is no charter for any bank to be here in America and do business with the private citizens, to extend credit, to give loans, to give mortgages, to give nothing. And that's against the law too. They literally been doing everything against you because you don't know. And y'all never bring it up. This is why they try to hush what I'm talking about. This is why they try to hush what I teach about, because what I teach about works. Because it's their laws, not mine, right? So automatically, this got daggone code of Georgia is void. It's only for a corporation, not for people. It says, now here's another part of the Georgia Constitution I'm going to bring up. It's under the Judiciary Act. Because this law, power of appointment, keeps on talking about mortgages. And the funny thing is, I teach people this, and they be like, yo, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know. You know what I mean? When other people give y'all these bullshit things to believe in, y'all believe that. But when I read directly from the Constitution, which the Constitution is the highest law of the land, y'all don't believe me, but y'all go believe in other people. You don't make them prove nothing. But Jonah, you gotta prove that to me. So, and I gotta teach y'all English. So let me read another part of this Power of Attorney Act, right? We was talking about mortgage. Number 3, pledge or mortgage an interest in real property or the right incident to real property as security to borrow money or pay, renew, or extend the time of payment of debt of the principal or the debt guaranteed by the principal. They just gave them a right to give you a mortgage, right? All right. If you in 1877 Georgia Constitution, right? And you in Article 5, Section, oh, damn it, why I keep on doing that? They're really in my computer trying to stop me, y'all. Maybe I should be pulling it up on a whole nother computer because they don't want me to say what I was about to say. I'm going to say it anyway. Ain't nothing they going to do is going to stop me. Hey, kitty cat, you want to go out with your bell? You want to go back outside? Hold on. I'll let you out. I didn't even know you was back in the house. See you later. All right, so Judiciary. Article 4, Judiciary. And I believe it's Section 2. No, Section 3. No, Section 4. Section 4, Paragraph 1. The Superior Court shall have exclusive jurisdiction in cases of divorce. So if you're getting divorced, it can only be done in Superior Court. And then it got a comma. So now here goes the second sentence, a new sentence. The Superior Court shall have exclusive jurisdiction in criminal cases where the offender is subject to loss of life or confinement in penitentiary. Okay. In Georgia, when they talk about you doing time in jail, did they do that case in state court or superior court? I guarantee you they did it in state court. Do you know that means, according to the Constitution, the state court of Georgia did not have jurisdiction to hear it? It said exclusive. Exclusive means this is the only court that can hear it. So all y'all niggas that got locked up in state court and went to jail, y'all can overturn that if you know my lessons and learn about my last webinar that I did. My last webinar I talked about court case being reversed before and after judgment. It's only $250 to go get it. You may need to go get that. Even if you're out of jail, you still need to reverse that case and get them to pay you for being in jail with lack of subject matter jurisdiction and personal jurisdiction. They owe you money. You was falsely arrested. Get with your boy Jonah Bay. Go to jonahbay.com and get that webinar. All right? So let's talk about another one. The Superior Court shall have exclusive jurisdiction in cases respecting titles to land and equity cases. What's a house? A house is a title to land. What is equity? Equity is a land property. Yo, they are in my shit so much. On TikTok, the goddamn agents put a cowboy hat on my head with a filter, and I ain't touched the computer at all. How crazy is that? They won't stop what I'm teaching y'all. All right? So, if you could only lose your house in Superior Court, how did they create a law that they're able to take your house under a power of attorney act? Unconstitutional. Now, if you was in my last webinar where I was talking about how to reverse courts and all that, I taught y'all about the writ of certiorari. Y'all can pay $300 and do a writ of certiorari and take that case directly up to the Supreme Court, where they only hear and talk about the Constitution. and you would win. You would win. You don't have to go do uh appeal and another appeal and another appeal. You was in magistrate court, you appealed to state court, then you appealed to what they call circuit court or superior court. You know what I mean? Then you got to take it up to circuit court in the federal level, and then finally you get to Supreme Court. You don't have to do none of that shit. I'll teach you the process to go directly to Supreme Court. A lot of this shit I teach you tells you that they have exclusive jurisdiction, just like this Georgia state constitution was talking about. The Superior Court has exclusive jurisdiction. Y'all be letting them take y'all into the wrong courts and claim jurisdiction so that they can give a kangaroo court to you. I know how to fight that, right? I know how to get your loved ones out of jail. Not with GSA bonds, with the Constitution. Get your loved ones out of jail. Federal or state, it don't matter. Because they violated the Constitution and no one brung it up. Or didn't know how to bring it up. Don't know how to do affidavits and all that. These are the things you have to learn. Well, now we at the 33 mark. I guess it's time for me to open up the call lines and see what kind of questions y'all got out here for me. All right, first caller, DB. Peace to Yahoo. DB, we don't hear you. I just don't understand. Most of these people be the same people that ask questions on every show. Why can't they just come in and talk? All right, I'm going to Marlon. Marlon Mobile. Peace to Yahoo.
Peace to Yahoo. I'm so happy and grateful that large sums of money come to me quickly and easily. I'm so happy and grateful that perfect health comes to me quickly and easily. I wish the same for you and all of your listeners and your family and everybody.
Ashe.
Ashe. I have a simple question for you. Well, first of all, I'm looking forward to this webinar this weekend.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a banger. So, yeah, simple question. I'm trying to put my header together for relief from judgment. Since I am the movement, I'm thinking that I have to put motion for relief from judgment.
Yep.
Is that what I'm thinking right on that?
Uh-huh. It's the words of the actual law. Now, are you taking it to the federal level or the state? On the state, I think they call it something different.
It's going to be on the state level. So it's in a county superior court.
And the state law says relief from judgment, right?
This one says motion to set aside.
So you're going to ask them for motion to set aside judgment.
Got it.
Use exactly the words of the actual law.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. No, not a problem, bro. Jeremiah McAlee. Peace to Yahoo.
Peace to the Yahoos.
Peace, my brother.
Yahoo, give thanks. Can you hear me? All right, give thanks. Give thanks for the lesson. Give thanks for more ammunition. Our grand teacher, Jonah Bay, and giving us more knowledge that ain't gonna work again. But I just wanted to give a little testimony. I didn't get to do it when
it's crazy. It's crazy. They always try to claim it don't work, but we get testimony after testimony after testimony. How ironic.
Testimony.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So what's your testimony today?
This will happen to be on the W4T workshop. And so I wanted to give the testimony that our moderator, Brother Marlon, he had been encouraging the group and everybody that's studying this information to in so many ways. And at the time, he was encouraging us to give. And I said, let me start doing. Let me just be obedient and do that. Give. Yahuwah said, give. So I started giving. Opportunity opened up for a job opportunity. I put in the 9.9 immediately. And this was a job that I ain't worked a conventional job since 2012.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? I put in that, and now I've been working with this, it's a painting company. I've been with this since October. I did it immediately after the 4T workshop. Now, I didn't do the affidavit form. I actually did the W4T form, and it seemed to work. Now, they hit me with, I ain't been taxed. I ain't had no taxes taken out of my check.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit me with a 1099 OID form, like maybe a couple weeks ago. So I just got to learn that process on how to, which I ain't
no,
if I just need to fill it
see,
out.
that's the problem. That's the problem. You did that form. If you'd have did a fucking affidavit, they wouldn't have hit you with no 1099. Now, you do the affidavit and give it back to them with that 1099. Or you take the 1099 and do the tax injunction and send it back with the 1099 to the IRS.
Okay. I'll get the consultation with you to do that. I'll probably end up doing either one. I have the affidavit ready. We had just went through the affidavit workshop and webinar after I had put in the I did the W4T first. And so
I never wanted y'all to ever use the W4T form. I wanted you to use the actual law that's on the form, which says taxes are voluntary, because taxes, according to the Constitution, is unconstitutional. It's slavery. Slavery has never been in the United States of America. No matter what you learned in school or seen in movies. Officially, we've never had slavery ever in the United States of America. And that's what their documents say, not mine.
Right, you pointed that out to us numerous times. So give thanks for these instructions and the teachings, Jonah Bay. And I'm at work, so I can't want to stand on the line too long.
Yes, sir.
I got paint buckets, and I got to get ready to start cleaning up. So
where you live at?
I'm out in California. I'm in Nevada County. I'm not too far from probably Jay Cali. I need to try to reach out to him. I just
you paint cabinets and walls and all that?
All that.
I might hit me in an email. I might hire you to come do a quick little job for me.
That'd be wonderful. I'll be out there ASAP. Soon as I'll hit you this evening.
All right.
No deal. All right. Peace to the Yahweh.
And I got all the equipment that you need anyway. Scaffolding, all that.
That's what's up. Give thanks. Yeah.
Right.
You got a sprayer? You got a paint sprayer?
Of course.
Of course. Okay.
Break up. All right. I'm going to the next caller. I'm going to Indignus Overwatch. Peace to Yahoo.
Hey, Salah Yahoo. Hey, man, yo, the facial expressions be killing me sometimes, man.
Really?
It fucked up my whole train of thought. Okay, look, man. Number one, thank you. Number two, thank you for clarifying what you said about the not using the actual W4T form, but only using the law from the form.
Yes.
Now, thank you for clarifying that. I wanted you to clarify and elaborate a little further on when you mentioned Article 1, Section 10,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to utilize that to overturn any case brought forth by the state. If I'm the defendant and the state is the plaintiff, I want to make sure I heard what you said correctly. And can you speak to that just a little bit?
Okay. Now that's not Article 1. That's not Article 1, Section 10. That's another part of the Constitution, right? And that's Article 3, Section 2. 1 second, I'm pulling it up. See, I gotta know this shit by heart. Look at, they just asked me a question that I'm not even talking about. And now I'm gonna have to give y'all a little English lesson when it comes to doing commas. A lot of y'all really don't understand what commas mean. When they put a comma into a sentence, it means they started a whole new sentence. But they be trying to make it smaller. So they use commas and make it a run-on sentence. Okay, here it is. I don't really like this one. Let me put PDF because they changed it. If you go into Cornell, you got to go into the one that's actually from the government because they allowed to change shit in their rules, and they'll change one or two words that changes up the whole thing. Okay, I didn't want that one. See what happened when you asked me a question that I wasn't prepared for? All right, I'm just gonna use the Cornell one. I know it by heart anyway. So in section 2, right? And really, you got to go, if you really want to learn the lesson, you got to go back to the last webinar and go get it from my site, jonahbay.com, how to get rid of a court case before and after judgment. But I'll give you a quick little synopsis on it. In the judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution. The laws of the United States, the treaties made or which shall be made under their authority, to all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, councils, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, to controversies which the state shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of a different state. You know they changed that, right? Why would they say the same thing twice? Between a state and citizens of another state. And then they say between citizens of a different state. They changed it. It read between a state and its citizens. And then the next thing said between citizens of a different state. But let me go on. Between citizens of the same state, claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state and the citizens thereof. So once again, it told you again. At the end, the state cannot go between and go up against the citizens thereof, or the citizens of its state, and foreign states and citizens or subjects. Then the next paragraph says it again. It says this: in all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and councils, and those in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. In other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction, both as fact, as law and fact, with such exemptions under such regulations that Congress shall make. So, the Supreme Court is supposed to have original jurisdiction when a state is a party against you. Now, my question to you, brother, is do you know why they wrote that in the Constitution, the federal Constitution? What were they trying to protect the citizens from against the state? Do you know?
Violation of due process. because this keeps it to where the judges got to be fair and impartial.
To protect you against impartiality. The state cannot be impartial if the state is the one suing you. The lawyers work for the state. The cop work for the state. The clerk work for the state. Everyone works for the state. How are they going to be on your side? That's called having the deck stacked against you. That is why they put that in the federal constitution, that the feds are an uninterested person. So they hear the Supreme Court hears the case because it has nothing to do with the case. So that's what you wanted me to elaborate on. That's what I just did.
Thank you. Now I got to go back and read that other one and figure out why.
And I'm not going to lie. The way they got it written to confuse you. They got it written to make people not really understand what it's saying. Some people say, well, Jonah, the only way it goes to the Supreme Court is if you are a citizen of the state and you're fighting for a land grant. I'm like, no, that ain't the reason. You got to read it thoroughly. You got to comprehend English. You got to know the rules to English. So now that I've told you and you go read it, you'll probably understand it now. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So, let me go to the next caller. I'm going to Travis L. Peace to Yahoo.
Peace, Jonah. Peace.
Peace, my brother. What up?
Appreciate all the lessons and knowledge and the wisdom and breaking down what he just said. I gotta go get that certiorari webinar because I got a couple of folks that's locked up for.
See, that's what I want y'all to stop doing. You are changing information. If you look on my site and you look for certiorari webinar, are you going to find one?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, go look. Look right now. It'll be on the first page. Look right now and see if you see anything that says certiorari webinar.
Okay. I just see interrogatory. I just see the last flyer is the interrogatory admission. Shit you gotta know webinar.
That didn't go yet, but read the next one.
Okay. Court case reversal before or after the judgment webinar.
That's the name of the webinar. There is no webinar called certiorari. So please stop saying the certiorari webinar. You're confusing people and yourself.
No, me?
Yeah.
No, I said I gotta go get that webinar because I got.
You said I gotta go get that certiorari webinar.
Oh, okay. Now, if I said it, my bad. I know I said it like that. My bad.
Yes, you did, and no such webinar exists.
Right.
Call it by its name. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the webinar that teaches you about certiorari. It's called Court Case Reversal Before and After Judgment Webinar.
Gotcha.
Because I taught you more than certiorari in that webinar. I also taught you how to do a Rule 60.
Okay. And that's kind of like what Brother Marlon was talking about, the relief from judgment or set aside of judgment.
Yeah. So why would I call it certiorari if I taught? That wasn't the main lesson in there. It was there. You know what I mean? When I talk about court case reversal, that's a Rule 60. But since I taught more than Rule 60, I can't call it Rule 60 either.
Right. It got multiple aspects in there.
Right. You feel me? I'm just trying to make sure people get it right and exact when they're looking for that webinar.
Gotcha. So yeah, I'm gonna get that court case reversal before
my nigga.
judge webinar.
My nigga.
All right. So and then so I gotta when it comes to taxes, like sometimes when they pull you in for like property taxes and stuff, that pertained to what you read earlier when they said in any cases of a title.
That Georgia code allows them to do taxes against you.
Got you. So
also, let me say this. There's something called colorable title. If you have a warranty deed, that's a colorable title.
That's what I got too.
Yeah. Just like if you have the title to your car from DMV, that's a colorable title. That's not a real title, bro. I'm coming up with a webinar pretty soon after this webinar that's going to show y'all how to get the actual titles. So it can be in the private and they can't touch it. Everything you're doing, they're doing it because it's in their jurisdiction. You haven't moved it to the private.
Yeah, and that's ingrained in my brain because I got cussed out about that. But you're right, I was saying it wrong. It's the counter deed.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on it.
You know what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? I gotta make sure. A lot of people get kind of mad if I correct them, and I do my diatribe. But my diatribe ain't for one person. It's for everyone. Yeah. To get the lesson straight, get the word straight, know what you're talking about, because you're gonna have to know how to do the actual right jurisdiction when it comes to titles. You see what I'm saying? So you're definitely gonna have to know how to create and do a counter deed. And if you know how to do a counter deed, you definitely got to know how to do a proper affidavit. All these lessons pack up on each other. If you don't have just one of those lessons, you're not going to do it right. Everyone else is going to be calling in, talking about they got remedy, and you're going to be like, yo, it didn't work for me. Nigga, because you don't have the proper lessons.
Right. Slippers count. Ain't no oops.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you're not going to be able to fake your way into it and get your remedy without actually knowing. This is why I listen to the words that y'all saying. I correct you on the words. I correct you on the way you're reading. If you reading too damn fast, how the fuck you gonna understand that you reading that shit all fast?
Right. And I was saying this shit wrong. So that was,
you know what I mean?
I couldn't get mad when I got it. I'm like, yeah, I'm wrong as two left shoes.
Like someone in the chat on Instagram said, yeah, you did, my nigga. When they was talking about, you did say the webinar, a writ of certiorari webinar. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of us talk and we don't know exactly what we say. And we be like, damn, I didn't say that. Oh, yeah, you did. You might have did it by mistake, but you did.
Yeah.
But wonderful talking to you, my brother.
All right, peace.
Peace. Jay Cali, peace to Yahuwah.
Peace to Yahuwah. Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Looking for California law of your Georgia code. Am I on the right spot? Probate code, Division 2, General Provisions, Part 14, powers of appointment.
That it would be in there. Absolutely. It's going to be in that definition. So you would, if I was you, I would Google California law on Power of Attorney Act, real property.
Power of Attorney Act, real property. Okay.
In other words, pull up the exact Georgia title. See, because this is really under 3 different titles. It's under Commerce and Trade, which is OCGA 10-1-1. Then it's under Georgia Power of Attorney Act, which is 10 OCGA 10-6B-1. And the specific code I'm looking at in that is called Authority of Agents, which is 10-6B-40. And up under that subsection is real property, which is OCGA 10-6B-43. They got it layered to hide it, yo. They didn't want no one looking at this damn law.
In fact, I'm looking at this one, and it's got 95 different lines, basically.
You feel me? That's what I'm trying to tell you. You were never supposed to find out this was enacted under the power of attorney, that they have jurisdiction over real property if you do an application. And this is every credit card, every bank loan, every mortgage, everything.
Yeah, in fact, it says under revocations. It doesn't say it does say revocations in it, but it says revoking, I think is what it said. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm. See,
release of power of appointment is what it says.
Yo, send me that code in my email, Jay Cali.
And it says the less power of voting is creating instruments. They're talking about the instruments, which is an application.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I found the right section. It's just that I gotta break it all down now.
You now gotta search all the different words of the different things I'm reading. They may not have it all in one code like they have it for me. They might have broke it up. That's why you gotta look up under each one of those subsections.
Yep. Thank you very much for that.
No doubt.
And I'm good, thank you.
All right, peace. Quadari L, peace to Yahoo.
Proud back. This is the other Cadriel. And I'm looking at peace to Yahoo.
Peace to Yahoo.
I'm echoing.
I know.
Okay. Oh yeah, word is bond. Yeah. Yeah, peace to Yahoo.
Peace to Yahoo.
And indeed, truly. I'm looking at a book right now called Government in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very specific to what you just said. The Constitution provides that the jurisdiction of this court shall be appellate only. Talks about the Constitution of the state provides that your judicial power shall be vested in one Supreme Court.
Yep.
And in such other, you see, and it's just like, it's just nothing but the truth, man.
Yep, nothing but the truth.
Man,
nothing
right
but
there.
the truth. Will you use it?
Yeah. What constitutes a separate equity court is a sufficiency complicated. Okay, it's got so much
legalese.
It's awesome. Yeah. So I went through the hearing where it was supposed to be a trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there, and then they had a new case number with my free name added with the word AKA, AKA free name. So first, middle, last, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
AKA free name.
Mm-hmm.
Still null and void. It's void from the beginning because the arrest didn't have a damn warrant.
Exactly.
No, it didn't have an affidavit.
It didn't have an affidavit in support of the warrant.
So that goose is cooked off the muscle.
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Then you shut that case down and do a 241, 242 suit. But I don't do 241, 242. I use the Constitution. I use the clause of the Constitution that says I have the right for redress of grievances.
Yes, because that redress is the very thing that you were bumping your head with at the state court.
Right.
Boing, boing, boing.
See, why would I have to use their code 1983 or 241 or 242 when they got traps in that code?
So
the Constitution has no traps. I have the right for redress and grievances is the jurisdiction that you put down why the court has jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I see no reason to use any of their codes.
Because the Constitution is the remedy.
Especially when the only thing, if you're doing an appeal or the Supreme Court, they're looking for is constitutional principles. That's the only thing they're looking at. Why would I use anything else?
Okay.
See, the thing is, the straw man, if you think you're a straw man, all caps name, then you use their codes. When you know you're a real man and woman, you only use constitutions.
Okay. So, just to change gears a little bit, relief from judgment. Relief from judgment is still. I came in and gave them notice of a relief that I'm going to the Supreme Court, but I had the title relief from judgment.
Relief from judgment. I work with the code of the state. Like I was talking to Marlon at the beginning of the show. I asked him what did the state law call it, and I'll call it what they call it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It depends on what jurisdiction you're in. I take the path of least resistance. Like if I'm going to be dealing with the state court, I'm using the state constitution. But I might also mention the federal constitution, but the main one I'm going to mention is the state. If I'm dealing with the federal courts, I'm going to mostly mention the federal constitution, but I will mention the state because they both got to follow both of them.
Yeah.
But it's a jurisdictional thing. Because if I just mention nothing but federal constitution on the state level, they might be like, get that shit out of here. This is Georgia.
This is Georgia.
That's federal
right.
law.
That's how they act.
Right. That's federal law. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Nigga, you can't do that to me because, nah, nigga, I started off with the Georgia Constitution in Georgia.
Okay.
It's a jurisdictional thing.
So what? So if you were in another state because you started off?
I will start everything off. I'm in Tennessee. I'm going to use the Tennessee Constitution and talk about the Tennessee Constitution. And I might say one or two things from the federal, but it will mostly be Tennessee Constitution.
Now remember how guys was like, they were like, hey, I'm gonna use the Georgia Constitution while I'm in Texas.
No, you ain't supposed to do that because they're gonna say.
They were saying they were trying to take the path of least resistance, though.
That ain't the path of least resistance.
It don't make sense, right? Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just bringing that up to say that I understand what you're saying. And then
I do understand that
tight enough to do what Georgia or Texas or Mississippi.
You gotta find that they ain't taking the path of least resistance. They're being lazy and don't want to study. They don't want to study what the Georgia Constitution says and find the very same thing in the Texas Constitution because the Texas Constitution probably use synonyms. They use different words that meant the same shit. These people don't want to learn English.
This is true. It requires reading.
Yeah, and most people can't read. They can't read, dog. You know, I talk to people every day, do classes and all that, tell them to read it, and then say, tell me what it means. And they can't do it. Immediately, they start reading it over. I let them read it over. I let them read it 2-3 times. They still can't tell me what the fuck it said.
Bless their heart. Bless their heart.
If you don't have comprehension, you can't read.
Precisely. Precisely. What? Indeed. Well, this has been great.
All right, peace, my brother. Charles, peace to Yahoo.
What up, Jonah?
What up?
Peace to Yahoo.
Okay. We go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Peace to Yahoo, man. I had a question, Jonah, man. I know it's been a long time, man. I should have been known this, but I just started working, right? And I want to see, is it possible still to get my Social Security number? I can get another tax number. I do.
Say again.
Okay, I started working, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been working a long time, so I just kind of started working again, and they want my social, and I don't want to give them my social. Do I gotta give my social?
Why you don't want to give it to them?
I don't want to give it to you because really for child support. Tell you the truth.
Child support, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, if you do the W-4T workshop, you will give them the W-4T affidavit where you won't pay no taxes, right?
Okay.
Without paying taxes, child support doesn't even know that you have a job.
Okay.
Then you need to get a consultation so we can teach you how to get off of child support.
I got you. That's all I was trying to get my money up, man. I just trying to get my money and start working.
I understand.
And, get things together.
No doubt.
But I got you. Thank you, Jonah.
All right, peace. Okay, Hashim Bey 2. Peace to Yahuwah.
Peace to Yahuwah, family.
What up?
I hope your health is wealthy and you're in good spirits.
I am. Thank you.
Beautiful. I can't thank you enough, Jonah, for all your great work. You're truly fulfilling, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's prophecies. You really are.
Ashe, man. I try to follow it to the T.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time to be alive. I'm glad I made the show. A lot of times I end up missing it, but I wanted to ask you something I've been wanting to ask you for a minute.
What's up?
I had an incident over there in Atlanta. This is some years ago, okay?
Right.
Back in like 2020. I gotten carjacked, right? And so after that, I went and said, all right, let me go ahead and get a tool, you know what I'm saying, so I can have some protection, right?
Yes.
So I started, getting some weapons and everything. And
you should have did some spiritual work too.
Well, it was during COVID and I was making deliveries, you just out different times.
But what I'm saying is if you did the spiritual work, you would have had an energy shield around you that anyone that was on that type of bullshit wouldn't even come around you, including the cops. But you still would have the blicky.
Right. I should have had that too. I should have been prepared, but no, I get what you're saying.
Be prepared for it all. Yes.
I had already hit my amount that I wanted to make that day.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I paid over 200, right? And I said, well, look, let me go ahead. My mom said, let me stop. I'm good. Let me just go home. But then another job.
Yup. And you took that last money instead of sticking with your first voice.
Yup. So and then that happened. It was right over there by Buckhead Church.
Damn.
Yeah, man. But it's all good.
My whole thing is, why are they robbing Ubers when I thought y'all don't take no money? It's all through an app.
They took my car, right? Well, this was my thing. I didn't know Kias was hot like that. I didn't know anything.
Me neither. You telling me something I didn't know.
Shh. Oh, they got me good, man.
Well, it's the environment with the money. Everyone's hurting, so they just doing anything to get any type of money.
Yeah, I mean, the spiritual work for me came after, to letting go of the negativity. Because I just put down some money on a van. I was getting ready to start hiring some people to start working, for me. And, it really vexed me for a while. Because I was like, damn, I want to do something good for my people. And then I got somebody like this. I'm glad he didn't take my life, but that shit was, emasculating. It wasn't cool,
man. Let me tell you something. Back in the days, I used to sell drugs, right? And every big time drug dealer, small time, everyone get jacked. It's part of the job.
Yeah.
It's part of the job, bro. It's not emasculating. Believe it or not, them jackers also kept the economy going.
Yeah.
All right. They go steal that money. They might pay their mama's rent and go get groceries and all. That money was distributed through the community because he jacked you. Right?
Yeah.
We knew, okay, we could get jacked at any time. So we always, the first thing we do when we sell is have the money for the re-up and put that way to the side. You know what I mean? You learned how to do business better. You learned how to prepare for bad things to happen, is what I'm saying. But it's all a part of the game. Getting jacked.
I mean, I'm becoming more. I was pretty angry when that happened because a lot of bad stuff. My life.
I can imagine. Yo, I remember one time I got jacked. by police for my whole
You got
package.
jacked?
Yeah, I got jacked many a time. So are you kidding me?
Okay.
Especially growing up when I was younger. Like I said, where I'm from, that's part of the game. But I got jacked by a popo. And I was like, yo, I'm good. At least they didn't lock me up for the drugs, right? But I didn't have no money for re-up.
Damn.
So I grabbed the blicky, went to the club, and I jacked someone at the club. It was his rent money too. He was a square fronting, trying to act like he was a drug dealer, and I took his rent money, yo. I didn't give a fuck. I said I'd rather take his money than the drug dealer money, because I was gonna rob a drug dealer, but them niggas be on the block with me.
Right.
That's beef forever. Oh, this nigga gonna be scared. So I took his shit, right? So, boom. He didn't tell her nothing. So the young niggas stole his car. He don't even know. I went and got his car back for him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I only robbed him because I had to.
Put that on a t-shirt.
I should. That's a dope one. Yo, I don't enjoy taking other people's shit. So I figured, I took about $2,000 from him. The car was at least worth $15,000. I gave back way more than I took. And he don't even know I did that. But I knew it. And I knew that would clear up my karma. My karma. Now, if I get robbed now, I won't even beef. I'm like, yo, I've been robbed niggas before. It's all good, yo.
Yeah.
I even tell niggas that. Yo, I robbed niggas before. Yo, here you go, bro. It's all good.
I'm alive and they didn't kill anybody with the car. They just used it so they could jack other, robberies like that. So,
can you really hate someone doing something they had to do to survive?
No, I'm honest. I was pretty fucked up for a while. You know what I mean?
But think about it. If they had to do it to survive, had to.
I just don't know why they go to a rich neighborhood. That's where I work. I stay.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna answer your question.
Broadcast, like
I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer it.
Okay.
Are hood niggas even allowed in rich neighborhoods? Soon as we go into that neighborhood, someone call the cops, you get pulled over and locked up. Type shit. It's riskier. You don't belong in that neighborhood. Everyone knows you don't belong. It's riskier. Yeah. Now, let me also tell you something else. Rich people never have money. They do everything electronically. If you are going to get some type of money, you're going to get that shit off of a nigga in your hood. Right?
It makes sense.
Now, also, niggas gamble. You can rob the gambling spot. You know what I mean? You can't go to the casino and rob them.
That's true.
So see, me growing up in poverty, I know that mindset. So I know why they did it. Now it should make a little more sense to you why they don't go to the rich neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I've forgiven and
And here's another thing. Are you more likely to find a gun in a poor person's car or a rich person's car?
I don't know.
Rich people don't carry guns on them that much.
That was a big thing in Atlanta.
All the hood niggas guaranteed got a gun in the car at the club. You need a gun? Go rob a car at the club.
Right. Yo, they was even hitting undercover cars.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
See, I used to be that, so I know how they think. Do you know, I'm rich now. I leave all my cars open at night.
That's smart.
Yeah. I leave it open so they don't break my fucking window. And they go through it and find out ain't nothing in the glove compartment, ain't nothing in the cars at all. And they go about their way.
Well, with my dream home, I'm gonna get a subterranean garage if I could do it. That's what
Well, even if you have that, dog, you ain't gonna drive your car in there every night.
Possibly, yeah, you're right.
You're gonna get lazy, bro. You're gonna get lazy, bro. Especially if you have more than one car.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you gotta move the cars around to get to a certain car. You know, I know I'm talking rich nigga problems, but yeah, those problems come along when you get more money.
Yeah. No, that's definitely. I mean, Biggie was you know,
more money, more problems. So I'm sorry that you went through that. And a lot of times, you know, you may not notice. You get robbed. You also get blessings right after that. The universe repays you.
Well, I'm spending more time with my loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had some health issues, and it's possible.
That's
nice. I
nice.
would have lost my life just being out there trying to get money like
right.
that out in the street. Honestly, it's Atlanta is like GTA server. Real talk.
Well, you know what? What's crazy is, ever since I've been here, I ain't never had no problems in Atlanta except for niggas. I remember when I first bought my Aston Martin the first week. I was at the cigar bar. Niggas broke into the car. Was nothing in the car. They broke the window of the car, and that fucked up the fucking what's the name? Right? The top, the drop top was fucked up. Yo, it costed mad money to fix that bitch, and that top don't work right ever since that happened.
Wow.
So I never put the top down. I drive another car if I want to do a drop top. I always leave the top up on the Aston Martin because I never know when it's gonna get stuck or not. I brought it back to the dealership about 3 times. Always the same. They like, it's fixed. We really didn't find nothing wrong with it. We put it up and down, up and down, up and down. It never got stuck while it's here. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
How that is, right?
Yeah. I think they lying halfway, and then halfway I think it didn't get stuck.
And then this is for the audience, something that I learned. I learned this from some of the like grassroots organizing people that don't run to the they actually stay in the neighborhoods. Okay, they got homes in the suburbs, but I'm saying they don't abandon the neighborhoods, right? Our neighborhoods,
right?
And what they said is like, yo, there's pimps in the pulpit. The politicians ain't shit. They stealing. Everybody's stealing, and they get their budgets. They're nonprofit corporations